Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. Hopefully all of you are doing well out there. I'm, of course, your host, World of Blitz, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about my first Tier 10 I ever got in World of Tanks Blitz. Not only is this vehicle my first Tier 10, being the FV 5B183, but this is also my most, and still is, my most played vehicle in the game. The only tank, in fact, to break the 2,000 game barrier at 2,018 games, which is kind of crazy for me. I have over 55,000 games in my account, and I really like to disperse my games evenly. You'll notice it's a very, very even spread across most of my vehicles in Blitz, because I like to get a very even playstyle. But the 183, ooh, when this tank first came into the game, I had actually lost my old account. So technically, this wasn't my first Tier 10, but on this account, it was, because I'd lost my old account where I never actually researched a Tier 10. And I started up the lines again, and I figured, you know what, the 183 just came out, and just like all people that read stats, I figured, oh, the 183 does 930 damage. Obviously, it's the best tank in Blitz. So, in today's video, I figured, you know what, let's talk about the tank. Is it still good? And why was it such a strong tank when it first came into the game? So, of course, when the line came into the game, all the tanks in the line were extremely strong. In fact, one of my highest damage games ever in Blitz that I remember was a 10,000 damage game pulled out in my Tortoise. It was a really stupid game, but at the time when the Tortoise had just come into the game, pretty much it was super, super strong, because at that time, you know, vehicles like the IS-6, the IS-3 actually had fantastic pen for a Tier 8 Heavy at 220, but most vehicles like the IS-6 premium tanks, first of all, there wasn't such thing as like overpowered premium spam at that time in Blitz, and the most penetration you would find was actually the T-34 for Tier 8 Heavy tanks, which still has very impressive pen, but nowadays the T-34 is just about average, I'd say, with most Tier 8 Heavies, like the Object 252 is about 220, most Tier 8 Heavy tanks have about 220 pen as it is. At the time, an IS-6, a WZ-112 Glacial, only had about 175 pen, which was the stock standard for your average heavy tank at the time. Now, I just watched our T-92-1 lose the biggest chunks of hit points I've ever seen a T-92-1 lose today, at least, which was all of his HP in a matter of about 5 seconds. So, good job to my light tank doing the fantastic job of spotting. We have spotted the mill all the way at the back of the map, and of course, this is why the 183 is, and still will always be, one of my favorite tanks in the game, is because of doing that. I literally took off over half of the mill 2's hit point pool in a singular shot. Now, I've lost another tank already on my team, which would be the WZ-120. Now, the fantastic thing about the 183 is you don't have to pen your shells to take out the enemy. You load a Hess shell, you hit them anywhere, and they're taken out of the battle. So the first 2 shots we've already pulled out, we've managed to do 1,500 damage, and one of them, of course, wasn't even a penetrating shot, was just a big splash on the opponent. So now we got a tank like the ST1, which we also have spotted, who I'm going to sit here. Hopefully my shell will go right into his lower plate. Aim and fire. Yes, there you go. Another big ol' shell into that ST1's lower plate. And now with 3 shells connected, we are sitting at 2,800 damage. And you can see the power of the 183 when it is getting its shots connected. But as you saw with that aiming circle there, that was a very, very minute chance of that shell actually hitting. And that's, of course, one of the big issues with the 183 is hitting its shots is a very, very, you know, improbable thing. So we got the T-22 medium off to the side, who I'm not really sure if we're going to be able to shoot. Hopefully this Jag Tiger spots him. I've got my camo net on, which is going to give me a very nice advantage to not being detected by the enemy tanks. There is actually a T-62A as well. Hopefully, oh, we could have gotten that shot out, but I moved just the moment he got detected. So let's see if this 62A is going to make the mistake of pulling around this corner. Oh, you know I'm waiting for him. And we might, you know what, if we just back up correctly here, we do that Jag Tiger there, but if we just back up correctly here, we might be able to get a shell into the 62A or the T-22 medium. We're going to wait. I don't think that that's going to connect. So we're going to wait just a minute here. Oh, come on, back up. You know you want to. Do it. Do it, comrade. You know you want to. In fact, we might just be able to back up further here. No, it doesn't look like we're going to. Okay, we need to position our tank correctly. We got that T-22 medium, and as well, we got the 62A. Now, the 62A should not be able to spot me since I'm in this bush correctly now. So let's aim it on his lower, or his frontal armor, and boom, there you go. We were waiting for it, and we managed to connect it once again. 4,000 damage now sitting on our platter, and well, yeah, that is the 183, and this is why I always love the tank, and it's one of my favorite vehicles. A lot of people always say that this tank is overpowered, and in fact, when it first came into the game, it was an extremely strong tank. The gun, I would say, was about 30% more accurate. It had better dispersion, it had better aiming time, but it always carried the same penetration and the same alpha damage, which of course is an extremely high amount. In fact, the standard pin on this vehicle is fantastic for what it's at. Now we got that 62A who was taken out, and all that's left is 2 vehicles. We got the enemy WT and as well the T-22 medium. Now, I actually have no clue where the WT is sitting, judging that he hasn't been detected the entire battle, but judging that one of my teammates has died from him, that means that we might be able to just... Nope. Doesn't look like we're going to be getting a shell into the enemy WT. But nonetheless, this was still a very, very good battle. The first game, 4,000 damage is definitely a number I can feel very, very happy about. Now, I just realized that our ST1 actually did a pretty solid job, judging that he is running the stock turret. Oh boy, is that a non-fun tank to grind. The ST1 is possibly one of the worst tank lines to grind. But when I saw the 183 come into the game, as I said, I pretty much saw that, well, it does 930 damage, which of course makes it the best tank in the game, which of course isn't correct logic by any means, but we did do a pretty solid game there, but that is not how the 183 normally works. You can see even after the 2,000 games I've played, and probably 1,000 of them were after I started to learn the mechanics of the game, become a decent player, I still have not managed to break even 2,800 average. And when you look at all of my tier 10 statistics, that's pretty dang impressive that I haven't, because you can see most of my tier 10s, apart from some of the other old ones I've played, usually have about 3,000 average damage. So yeah, as much as I would love for my FE-Tune 5B 183 to become a 3,000 damage tank, just like the rest, it won't be that for a while, at least for the next 1,000 games. So let's see if we can continue that good old streak here, getting another big damaging game out. Now, while the 183 has the capability to do what I did last game, which was deal 4,000 damage, the issues arise with the tank itself. It has a terrible, in fact, the worst camouflage rating, worse than a mouse at tier 10, which means that mediums, especially light tanks like the T-92E1, will easily spot me when I'm trying to get into position. Not only will I be detected, but the gun is not necessarily the most accurate. You saw those shots in the Emil-2 and the ST1. Well, those were very, very lucky. In fact, normally, shots like those never, ever come even close to where you're aiming. They'll miss by 2 miles. And the nice thing, of course, is that with Hesh, and you can see I actually carry twice as many Hesh as standard, when you miss with a Hesh, as long as you hit the target, you're still dealing like 600 damage. This is kind of a bummer when you don't penetrate your Hesh, because you're like, well, there goes 1,300 damage I missed out on. So we'll see what we can do here. But the fantastic thing about the 183 is the capabilities of carrying a team. So there's a good example. I shot the T-92E1, I didn't penetrate him, but I still took off 617 damage, which is impressive. You know, that's going to stop him probably from pushing super aggressive. Now, we have the E5, who just spotted me, which, as you can see, I got spotted. Now, I wasn't necessarily completely in the bush, which makes sense, so I didn't expect to not be spotted there, but we got to be very, very careful right now. I don't think we're detected anymore. That not the 183, the grill is not going to be able to detect us through this bush, which is good for me. As long as I sit in this bush correctly, we should be fine, and if that grill makes the move out here, we will easily detect him, which is good for me. As you will know, the grill has one of the worst camouflage ratings as well for the tank destroyer class, and as well just tanks in general. I don't know why it's so bad, but it's bad, which means that if the grill makes the move, we should be able to spot him. So let's take a look at what's going on around the map. We've got the E5, the E6 over there. There's an M60 actually spotted. Not expecting to see him over here. Huh. Okay, let's push up a little bit. Maybe, just maybe we can squeeze through here and get a shot into the M60. Aim and fire! Yes, there we go. That is what I'm talking about. So one shell into that M60, able to bring what was a full health tier 10 medium down to nothing once again. And now we can back up, and judging that the grill is just sitting there, that's fantastic for me, because that means we should be able to do a decent job of helping out our teammate if we play this correctly. So there you go. You're taken out, and now we got the grill sitting right in the corner here. Now, if this shot hits, this will be a just fantastic shell. No. Well, the good thing is that we didn't get detected. We made a good judgment. You know, we didn't get spotted by the grill because he was just the corner of his turret peeking, which means that if we wait a couple more seconds here, we should easily be able to pull out once again and try and get that shot out. So let's aim. Aiming, and fire. Yes, there we go. That is the 183 for you. So once again, we were able to connect quite a bit of shells this game. We did 3,219 damage, and as you saw, when your shells miss in this tank, it hurts. Like, it affects your damage big time when your shells miss. But at the same time, when your shells connect, oh boy, do they hurt the enemy tank. So let's see if we can get a big ol' snap into the E6, and fire. No! Well, again, you can see that's where the dispersion comes into play. It's not accurate, like, by any means. And that's what you normally expect from your shells to happen with the 183. So, yes, it is a strong tank. And in fact, in a skilled player's hands, like mine, you can do a very good job. Like 3,200 this game, we were able to bring what was a full health tier 10 M60 down to literally shambles in a singular shot. 1,426 hit points taken off of him. he was down to a one-shot for every single tank on our team. That goes the same for the grill. If that shot had hit him when he was full health, he would have pretty much been a one-shot for every tank on our team. And that's what's crazy about the 183, is that we only got 3 shells connected this game, and yet we were able to pull out over 3,000 damage. So the 183 will always be one of my favorite tier 10s in the game, and it will be continuously probably my most played tank. The T49 is mighty close, as you'll see, 1,889, but I always want my 183 to be my most played, as it is one of my favorite tier 10s in the game, and it's just such a blast to play in Blitz. So hopefully all of you enjoyed today's video. As always, if you did, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below, as it helps out the channel a crazy amount. But other than that, hopefully all of you are doing well there. Stay happy, stay healthy, to be seeing you in the next one.